Hey, what's up, you guys? It's time for another episode of What's Hot and What's Not in Children's Ministry. Today, you guys, it is all about the wake up call. We are getting ready to wake you up because when it comes to children's ministry, we've got to go to next level leadership. Why? Because everything has changed. And if we are truly going to prepare ourselves to reach tomorrow's generation, then there are some changes that we need to make. So stick around and find out. You guys, everything is changing. And whether you like it or not, nothing is going to go back to the way that it was. And that's okay. The older we get, the harder it is to change. But regardless of your personal preference, change is necessary for all of us. No one can opt out of change. Why do we have to change? We have to change because cultures change, communities change, we change. And as ambassadors for Christ and reaching the next generation, it is time for us to stop fighting for what was and begin to stand up and become the progressive children's ministry leaders He has called for us to be. The time for action is now. Church attendance is dropping. Mental health illnesses among children, no less, is growing every day in numbers. School shootings, cyberbullying, so much more. But what's worse, you guys, is that there is all manner of unsound doctrine enchanting the hearts and minds of our children, taking them away from the truth of God, taking them away from Jesus, when we all know that Jesus is just as relevant today for everything that they need, for everything that they're going through. The answer is found in Jesus. So, what does this mean? I hope for you, as a children's ministry leader or worker, I hope it means to you that this is war. So, are you ready for battle? Because if we're going to be ready for battle, then children's ministry leaders need to break free from the chains of people pleasing. Okay, we need to be willing to be unorthodox rule breakers. And now I'm not telling you to be a heretic or to break from your theology, but what I am telling you is to break from the status quo and be willing to be a little controversial for the sake of reaching a generation. I am telling you to move from likership to leadership because that is where it's at. Hey, listen, you guys, real leadership moves things forward, not backwards. So I want to give you 5 things that you need to do to take your leadership to the next level. Number one, get serious about investing in your personal growth. You guys, this one is a biggie, and I know how it is to be in children's ministry and you get so busy doing ministry that you neglect to invest in yourself. But I'm here to tell you, you can no longer do that. Ignorance is no longer an excuse. You cannot be somebody that you're not. You cannot fake knowledge that you do not have. You cannot reach a generation and help them with the issues that they're going through, the relevant issues that they're dealing with right now when you don't understand anything about those issues because you're not investing in your personal growth. You're not doing what you need to do. You're not doing your homework to truly understand. And you certainly can't train others to do so. I am here to tell you that if you keep neglecting your own personal development, you are going to hurt not only you, but you are going to hurt your department in the long run. Put the excuses at the door and invest in your personal growth and development today. Number two, resist the urge to people please. And I know this is a hard one, you guys, but let me tell you, everyone is not going to like you no matter what you do. Someone is not going to like you, and that's okay. All right, people are always going to complain. All right, I'm telling you, stop trying to walk this tightrope. All right, because you are constantly trying to avoid offending people or making people feel uncomfortable. People are going to complain and they're going to feel uncomfortable when you challenge them and when you stretch them because stretching feels uncomfortable. Stretch them nonetheless for the purposes of reaching a generation for Him. Listen, the major role of the prophets was to give messages to people who did not always like them, but the messages were still just as true and necessary. And they did it for the purposes of advancing His kingdom. We are doing this for the purposes of advancing His kingdom. That is what children's ministry is all about. So trust me and believe. Do not focus on people pleasing. It is a waste of time and it is a road that you do not want to go down. So find another road. Number three, overthrow dead systems, not people. You guys, this one is a really important one, okay? Because you have got to get rid of dead systems and procedures that you know are just not working and are not relevant anymore. That is a part of your role as a leader. But be careful because, with that said, it is imperative that you still care about people. You have to care about those people who created those systems because the truth is, at one point in time, those systems, they did work. Those procedures did help. One of the biggest mistakes is going into children's ministry and throwing a grenade at it and changing everything and saying, I'm here and I'm with the times and acting like those people and everything that they did was a waste of time. It was not a waste of time. Make sure that you are honoring the creator of those systems. You in children's ministry, you need people. All right, don't treat people badly. That is a big mistake. That is bad leadership at its core. And trust and believe, even though these changes that you may make may stretch people and it may make people feel uncomfortable, some of those people will become your most loyal allies because you took out the necessary time to honor them in the right way, in the healthy way. And now, later in the future, they will help to push your agenda. Okay, so make sure that you care about people. Number four, move from managing people to leading people. And this is a big one too, you guys, because in children's ministry, it is so easy for us to become the manager of all things. If you are in children's ministry, you know what I'm talking about. And the time just kind of leaves and you don't invest the necessary time to really equip your leaders. But let me tell you something. Leaders, real leaders, create other leaders. So stop calling your volunteers who come in to help you and you're just calling them leaders. Because if you're not investing in them, if you're not training them and equipping them, then they are just glorified helpers. Let me tell you something about glorified helpers. Glorified helpers will quit and not look back. All right? But when the storms of transition come and they hit, it is empowered leaders who stay. They are left there and they are standing and they will help you lay each brick on top of the other and help you to rebuild. You want to have empowered leaders, not glorified helpers. All right, when a countercultural philosophy is out there trying to enchant the hearts and minds of our children. Glorified helpers, they look at the children's pastor, they shrug their shoulders and they say, okay, what you gonna do about it? But empowered leaders, they roll up their sleeves and they will fight with you. So I am telling you, I know how it is, but it is worth it in the long run. If you want your ministry to last, especially through transition, we have all been through a huge transition in this season. Move from managing people to creating leaders and empowering leaders. And last but not least, number five, get back to loving life and loving ministry. You guys, there is a spirit of weariness in children's ministry like I have never seen before. You guys, we have got to get back to loving ministry and loving what we do. It is so important that we do the necessary work to revive that passion, that we do the necessary work when it comes to self-care outside of ministry to make sure that we are cultivating a sense of contentment in our lives, and that we're whole in our personal lives so that we can be whole in what we do in ministry. You know, I know what it is. I know what it's like to put on a face in ministry, right? We do that. We are probably the best at putting on a face and still smiling even when we're hurting, and still smiling even when we're miserable, because that's ministry, right? It's our job to pour out, but you cannot pour out from an empty well, all right, or from an empty cup. People crave authenticity, and I don't care how good your personality is. Personality does not trump performance, and your performance is going to be affected in a negative way if you don't love what you do. So get back to loving life and loving ministry. Hey, listen, you guys, in a postmodern culture, it is imperative that we level up in our leadership if we are truly going to effectively reach a generation for Him. The rooster is crowing. It's time to wake up. Hey, you guys, that's it for this week's episode of What's Hot and What's Not in Children's Ministry. We will see you next time, same place.